Hello guys, I just want to inform you that yesterday's changes to Scaramouche sadly did not buff him. As you can see, after the changes, he only deals 237 more damage in 18 seconds rotation. Technically it's still a buff, but it's a sad buff. To me, it shows that they don't want to buff Scaramouche any further. His new Anemo artifact set though, has been buffed mildly, from 30% damage bonus to 40%. I will show you his updated weapon DPS chart in the later part of the video, after I explain to you what have been changed. Before the update, his elemental skill gives him 68% normal attack damage bonus at talent level 10. Now, his elemental skill multiplies his normal attack multipliers instead, by roughly 1.53 times. This mechanism is exactly like Yoimiya's elemental skill. But, his normal attack multipliers have also been reduced to 87% of the original numbers, while his charge attack multiplier remains the same. Now let me show you his DPS comparison using different sets of combo. As you can see, he can deal more DPS by using charge attack instead of his last normal attack hit. But since I'm not sure if he can do 5 or 6 charge attacks in a single skill duration, so I calculated both. And as you can see, with 5 charge attacks, his DPS is not much better than a casual 6 sets of normal attack combo. Spamming charge attacks however, does not give you any benefit. Also, please note that Scaramouche does not have interrupt resistance at all, so an arrow or a stone can easily knock him down and he will lose DPS every time. In order to achieve the DPS that's shown in the video, he must have a shielder so he can attack continuously without needing to dodge. Dodging while in flying and not having his passive triggered will consume his flying stamina, prematurely ended his flying mode, and ultimately reduces his DPS. His passive, which triggers 4 homing arrows while dodging, only serves as a bonus and should not be used as a source of damage. Zhongli should be the best shielder for Scaramouche, that can also give 20% resistance shred, and 20% attack bonus from his tenacity of the Millilith artifact set. If you don't have Zhongli, you can pull for Layla in the next banner, for her 12 seconds cryo shield that can also give Scaramouche an extra 20% crit rate to his flying stance. Same with Zhongli, you can use the tenacity of the Millilith artifact set on Layla, to give Scaramouche an extra 20% attack bonus, and an increased shield strength. Now that he can deal damage without having to move an inch, it's a good idea to bring Bennett with him, since he can benefit from Bennett's buff 100%. A C1 Bennett with a Festering Desire and a 4-piece Noblesse artifact set is enough to give Scaramouche a massive boost to his DPS, as you can see in this chart. I included Toma as a shielder because he can activate the Pyro Resonance with Bennett, and both can fill each energy up, which is great. Also, Scaramouche should use an Anemo Goblet instead of attack, to maximize his DPS with Bennett's buff. Now the last slot for Scaramouche team, ideally would be Faruzan, since she's designed specifically for him. Unfortunately, Faruzan also received yet another nerf on her second passive. Faruzan's second passive, which increases Anemo damage based on her base attack, has been reduced further to 32% of her base attack, which is very minuscule. Let me show you an example. Without Faruzan's passive, Scaramouche first normal attack deals 10,305 damage. With Faruzan's passive, Scaramouche first normal attack became 10,779 damage, or 474 more damage. And this can only trigger once every 0.8 second. I don't get why they keep nerfing this already minuscule passive. And I also don't understand why Faruzan's elemental burst cooldown is 20 seconds while Scaramouche burst cooldown is 15 seconds. This means that Scaramouche will always have to follow a 20 seconds rotation instead of 18 seconds. With that in mind, let's take a look at how Scaramouche perform in a full team with a C0 Faruzan. As you can see, even with a 20 seconds rotation with Faruzan, Scaramouche is still able to perform 36 to 39k DPS with his relatively free-to-play personnels. But in my opinion, you can always replace Faruzan with other off-field DPS such as Yelan or Xingqiu to cover pyro enemies, or Kazuha for better grouping capability. Now using his full team with Zhongli, Bennett, and Faruzan, let me show you his weapon DPS comparison chart. As you can see, an R1 Widsith without even triggering its passive can still deal 30k DPS. And when it does trigger either attack or damage bonus, it can deal 35 to 36k DPS. If you don't have the Widsith, you can always buy the Blackcliff Agate from the Paimon shop, and get similar performance to the Widsith. Next week, after Scaramouche final update, I'm going to make the Scaramouche vs Xiao rematch video. To make it fair, I will make them use their best team comp, to find out who's really the best Anemo main DPS in real game scenario. And I think that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more DPS calculation videos from me. I'll see you soon in my next video.